Dr. Umar Johnson has made an enemy out the wrong person, and he's in some major trouble because of it. This person has already taken a lot of money from him, and now they're spearheading an investigation that could potentially lead Umar Johnson to a prison. The woman in question, who's been Umar Johnson's biggest nightmare, is Laurianne. Now, we're going to back up to the beginning before we get to the new update that took place today. Now, about 5 months ago, she did an interview with this content creator called Lennon Honor. Now, Lennon Honor does great work on Umar Johnson. He's been covering Umar Johnson for a while now. Me and Lennon Honor has had runs in the past. I don't dislike him. I'm sure he probably dislikes me, but there's really no issues on my end with Lennon. During this interview, she tells Lennon about her run-in with Umar Johnson and how it started with her making a donation to Umar Johnson and the FDMG school. And then that quickly transitioned into them getting into business together. And that business relationship ended horribly with Umar Johnson trying to get money out of her. Well, what she would say, try to hold her hostage for some money.
I believed in his vision. I loved his idea because the way I saw his concept, this is someone who's coming to breathe life within the Black community. And then the Lord has blessed me. I ain't rich, but I was able to make a contribution for FDMG.
Yeah, would you like to share how much that donation was, if you're
The don-
comfortable with that?
$2,000. That's the initial donation to the school.
Mm-hmm.
This is how the connection became with him.
Umar Johnson apparently called her to thank her for the donation. And when he called her to thank her, by the end of the conversation, Umar Johnson was asking her to next time she donates, instead of $2,000, make it $4,000.
Okay, 2019.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah.
he reaches out to you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he reached out to me. He was humble. He was gracious. The only little red flag I had, and then I didn't notice it. I thought it was rude, but now, like, I'm the type person, when something goes south, I go back and trying to re-examine stuff. He was like, next
Mm-hmm.
time, if you could get 4,000 is first of all, just say thank you. He told me next time if I could get 4, and I thought that was rude and a little bit.
In 2025, I don't think Umar Johnson got the balls to ask somebody to double their donation. But around that time, Umar Johnson was that dude, yo. Umar Johnson could call your phone and tell you, hey, bruh, yo, we pushing for Black people. Hey, bro, we on a mission for Black people, bruh. Yeah, you donated, but next time, come a little better. Because Umar Johnson had that cachet with Black people. Right now, man, he'll be lucky to, right, to get a $10 donation from somebody, man. But so this happened in 2019. Apparently, they stayed connected for years. And then they began to talk back and forth about a conversation about a documentary. Umar Johnson asked her to make a documentary about his life. Now, she was a filmmaker. She's never done a documentary before. So she was kind of uneasy about it, but Umar Johnson kind of 100% guaranteed her that he would take care of everything.
So at a certain point, you donate to him in 2019. At a certain point, he asks you to do a documentary of his life. What do you remember? What year that was?
The documentary, we established a rapport. It was like probably around 2000 or end of 2019. He asked me
Okay.
yeah. I know you
So
like timeline, but I can't
yeah,
remember
no,
exactly
that's
the
okay.
date and time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the end of 2019, could it have been 2020, the beginning of 2020?
Yeah, beginning 2020, around that
Okay.
time frame.
Okay.
So he asked me to do a documentary on his life. And look, again, I'm a filmmaker. My antenna just went because he has an established audience. He has a platform. But I was transparent with him. I said, Doc, I make feature film. I have never done a documentary. He's like, so what? You're a producer. I said, yeah, that documentary and that film, that's two different beasts. They are cousins. The process of doing a documentary is not the same process of doing a film. Like, the documentary is very detail oriented. It's involved with fact. And then after you collect your data, you have to do an observation of the subject. I said, someone of your caliber, I don't think I'm the right person to do the documentary. Quit playing with me, Queen. Quit playing with me. I have hard regard for you. I want you to do it. I will back you 100%. I will put my sweat into this. Yo, Queen, when I say Doc is on board for something, just say you don't want to do it, but you have my full support.
She starts putting it together before she even get a dime from Umar Johnson. She's traveling to his lectures. She's filming already. She's putting it together. Now, before I guess that was like preliminary stages, kind of just gathering assets, gathering a plan, gathering production team. But she still does a lot of work for absolutely free, right? Now, when it was time for them to really get the production team on board, really start filming, really getting everything in place, traveling, doing certain things, filming at certain locations, she tells Umar Johnson, yo, we got a budget. All right. Now, yo, this budget consists of a lot of things, the filming, flying people to like certain places, like hotel. Bro, it's all encompassing. Now, it's gonna cost a lot. You can back out right now and there's no hard feelings, but yo, the bill is gonna be $86,000. Umar Johnson tells her, man, don't trip about the money. Oh, that's nothing. Man, that's the easy part. That's petty. And he ensures her move forward with the $86,000 budget, put the production together, let's get started.
The financial report for the documentary. Again, it's like he asked me to do it, so I'm gonna present you what this gonna cost. So when I called, I said, Doc, like I told you, I don't really do documentary. I do film, but you were so inspiring to me. I took the project on, but this is probably the most costly project that I've ever done. And I kept it to a shoestring budget. Doc, when I told you I cut corner of finance, I cut corner. It's like, yeah, okay, well, what is it? We good. I said, it's going to be $86,000. I said, that's expensive, Doc. And he's like, nah, we're good. We could do this. He's like, Queen, you worrying about money. You worrying about the petty stuff. I said,
Yeah. How much did you say? How much did
80,
you say it was going to be?
$86,000.
And this was for the documentary.
This is for the documentary.
Umar Johnson is a cap artist, man. If Umar Johnson tells you the money there, man, you got to double check if that money there, bruh. So she learned the hard way that Umar Johnson is a cap artist. So Umar Johnson tells her, let's get started, Queen. Put it together. Let's get started. So she gets the production team together. Everybody is on board. They excited. Umar Johnson, the project, we starting on this day. We about to travel the world with Umar Johnson. And we getting started. Let's run it. We about to really make the project of the year. So they have a start date. Right around the start date now, she contacts Umar Johnson for the payment so they could get everything booked up. Umar Johnson then changed up the entire plan on her and pulls the rug from out of under her and begins to ask for free work in exchange for a revenue split.
And I said, well, Doc, you're going to have to give them the entire money. It's not like a layaway plan or half up front, because, everything got to be paid as we go, because the documentary is like, we were going to capture. So we did research, we did observation. We were going to capture some live lecture. We were going to bring it fresh. So, and he's like, oh, listen, family. Oh, Queen, all my money's tied in FDNG. I don't have a risk since going this documentary. You go ahead and fund it. I'm going to put my sweat. You have my backing. When the money come in, you recruit what you put in, and then, just give a little something to FDNG. I don't even care if you don't give me nothing. I just want to live a digital imprint for these young boys that I'm going to create this school so they could know about Umar John. I don't want no white man doing my documentary. He went on and on and on. And then I paused. So after I paused, I said, well, Doc, let me get back to you.
We're going to try to speed this up because, trust me, it gets really bad for Umar Johnson very quickly, okay? So, yeah, like she hangs up the phone and says, we're not doing this, bro. Umar Johnson isn't really somebody they could rely on. Now, maybe if this was somebody else who was serious, who was consistent throughout the entire process, but Umar Johnson had already been annoying her, right? So she was pretty much done with this. Umar Johnson calls her back 2 days later. She tells Umar Johnson, hey, bro, it's not happening. Sorry, we can't do no documentary. That's when Umar Johnson switched it up and then have a bright idea, and ultimately convinces her to not do the documentary, but do another project that includes him.
2 days later, he didn't even give me a chance to call him. He called me like, okay, what's the verdict? When we starting? I need to email you these lectures. We need to get started. And because I gave him a list prior to colors not to wear. And I want to take some picture of when I'm gonna wear each lecture so you can tell me if it's okay. I said, Doc, I don't want to bust your bubble. I've already talked to production. Everybody morale just crashed. He's like, what? I said, I cannot take that financial burden. I just can't. As much as I want to, as much as I'm, it's in my blood boiling. I cannot proceed with that. That's like way too much of finance commitment. He's like, I don't understand. You have body of work. I said, yeah, I have body work. Film. I told you that documentary and that film or like cousin. I can't. I was willing to take a stab at it, but I can't take that financial risk, and I am not willing. So that's the business part of me. I got to my senses. See, when it's your money, you wake up quick.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I could tell, like he went down. He's like, oh, Queen, okay, you said you can make a movie. I said, yeah, doctor. Well, let's make a movie on the spot, just like that. I said, you want to make a movie? Yeah, let's make a movie. That's what you could do, but I don't have no money to put in no project. I will give you my sweat. You will have my undivided attention. You will have my support. I will push this film. I will give you my platform. He gave me a whole song and dance. I'm like, now you're speaking my language. We're gonna make a movie.
Umar Johnson actually shows up. He does his part. He actually shows up and they film this. So he was consistent and reliable in that regard. But here's where things break down. And this is one of those things where you look at Umar Johnson and say, yo, you could have avoided all this trouble if you were just a reasonable person. So they film everything. She founds a theater partner where they're putting like the movie and the film in theaters to make their money back. She funded everything. Now when it's time to do a screening, because obviously, the theater will give you one screening where you come and you see if everything is okay, if the coloring is right, if everything is great. And then once you do the screening, you give the go ahead, and now they put it in theaters. She tells Umar Johnson, hey, the theater wants to do a private, screening for the producers. We come, we see if we like everything. If not, we could edit certain things out. Umar Johnson then blows up on her. He then blows up. How dare they do a private screening? He hasn't seen it yet. He hasn't co-signed, but he still had the opportunity to say, hey, I don't like this. Let's change this up. If you come and do the private screening and watch the movie. But he started to demand things that she didn't have the resources to do.
So I said, I'm willing to pay for you. Nah, you send me the finished product. I said, first of all, that's not possible. It's on that film, but it's not like no DVD. And he couldn't understand the concept. I don't know if he think I was playing game with him. I said, Doc, I'm giving you an option to see it. No. You give me the finished product and then we move forward.
So this is from February 8, 2023. Umar states, you are not allowed to show that film without my approval. I have not seen it and I do not give you permission to screen it. And then you stated a private screening is just the executive producer to see the image on the screen and to hear the sound. And then he says, complete disrespect, all in all caps. You reply, how am I being disrespectful? Why are you so angry? Can you come to Cleveland and see it? And text when you capitalize everything that's shouting. And then you stated you were pleased with the project. Now all of a sudden you've turned against the project. I am baffled by all of this. I didn't say you couldn't see it. I asked you your location in Maryland and you ignored me. I offered to FaceTime.
And let me cut you. The location, let me cut you real quick. The location Maryland, because he was doing a lecture. The reason I asked him, I told Sarah, instead of doing the screening here in Cleveland, can I have my screening done in Maryland? So I tried my best to accommodate him. Please continue.
Yep. Let's go to the next one. This is again from February 2023. Everything needs to be. Okay, so yes, you were pleased with the project. Now all of a sudden you're turned against the project. I am baffled by all of this. I didn't say you couldn't see it. I asked you your location in Maryland, and you ignored me. I offered the FaceTime to show you the movie, and you declined. You're not meeting me halfway. The file cannot be sent email. It doesn't have the capacity to be sent that way. It is too large, and I keep calling you, and you're not even picking up the phone. And then Umar responds with, everything needs to be in writing. I prefer text message.
Yeah, that's when he shut down. He no longer was calling me or accepting my phone call. He just wanted to communicate, email and text. Communication was completely, verbal communication was shut down at the time. Please continue.
Yep, and this is February 8, 2023. I'm not speaking to you on the phone until I receive a link to watch the movie in its entirety. And then you replied, I did email you a contract. You already have that in writing before filming. And if you want, And if you want, you could FaceTime and see the whole movie. I've given you 2 options to watch it, and you refuse to take either one of them. And then Umar said, I never signed any contract.
Yeah, because he didn't. He didn't.
Yep.
You see how conniving he is?
Yep. You do not have my approval to proceed with this film. I have not been given a link to see the movie in its entirety for my approval. I do not give you permission to include my likeness in any shape, any way, shape, form, or fashion in your movie. You do not have permission to use my likeness in any video, trailer, movie, except of any excerpt or of any movie, parts of interviews, or any portion of the brand that is Dr. Umar Johnson or Prince of Pan-Africanism. You do not have permission to release any clips or trailers that depict the image of Dr. Umar or his related brands. You already posted a trailer without my permission. You are a deceitful, disrespectful, and unprofessional liar. I will see you in court.
Now, according to her, when a movie is filmed, they have a copy of the movie, but obviously you can't email something that large, and it's not uploaded, like to no cloud. And also, the format in which the film is in, like the theaters have it in a specific format, so the theaters can't even email it to you because the format they have is something that's needed. So like they could play it in every theater, right? So Umar Johnson couldn't get a link to it, and she kind of felt sketched out that he was asking for a link to it directly, opposed to just coming in person and watching it, or her FaceTiming him and showing him the entire movie as they're watching it. But he wanted to be in possession of the full link, and she kind of felt sketched out about it. Now, here's where you begin to kind of realize that maybe this was premeditated by Umar Johnson. He never signed the contract, even though everything in the contract was things that Umar Johnson agreed upon and told her directly he wanted. But the contract was sitting in his inbox for months, and he purposely never signed it, and he knew he never signed it because the minute she brought up a contract, he already had that trump card. No, I ain't signed no contract, right? So here's where things break down. So Umar Johnson then begins to ask them for money. So Umar Johnson says, hey, I don't like nothing about this. I don't want to do no revenue split no more. Give me $500,000 for the film. Or, we can negotiate a number for some upfront money. But it was never about no upfront money because, like, he specifically told her, I don't even want money, queen, all right? Just make the project and then we'll split it. But now he was demanding some upfront money for whatever damages he believed that he incurred during this filming process.
He threatened to take me to court for $500,000. I want y'all to listen carefully. He threatened to take me to court for $500,000. Now, when they put that on the table, the negotiation time, they want us to give a number. What number can you guys get from that $500,000? I will take it to my client. He would take that to Umar, and if Umar approved, or if he doesn't approve, Umar would give us a number, and then if we still are not cooperating to negotiate, they threat to take to court. Honey, listen here. You hear me? So we're like, listen, please file the proper paperwork. And I hat off to TJ. File the proper paperwork with the Greater Cleveland Court. We will see you in court. We're not negotiating anything. Now, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna be transparent. So the ghetto came out of me. I said, tell that chatty patty jazz that he's not getting a penny from me. And then he's like, Miss Laurianne is gonna have that kind of language. We're ending. I said, we've been ending it. There's no negotiation. This is how Umar roll. So listen, I spent money for attorney. I had to give him another. That was the retainer fee. I had to give him more money because now we're preparing. These people are going to hit with paperwork to court. We're going to court. He's Umar Johnson. He has the fund to sue me. Okay. So when we called out his bluff, we never heard from his lawyer. Never heard from him. He is a financial in the Black community. What he does, the time that he was connecting with me, he is intelligent. He was gathering data. He was studying his subject. He gave me 2 options. The first option is you won't spend your money. You're going to make this a finished product. And then I'm going to take it from you. I don't share the pie. I'm eating it alone. See, he ran up on me. I am not no dummy. I said, no, there was a contract. We had an understanding. You're not going to bully me. I'm not giving you the finished product.
Umar Johnson is a professional cap artist, so obviously Umar Johnson was not going to sue her. Umar Johnson was trying to scare her into relinquishing some paper to King Kong consciousness, but she wasn't going for it. She actually became irate. And she even told Umar Johnson, okay, you want to play like this? Okay, let's play. Now, she's a donator to Umar Johnson. She gave Umar Johnson $2,000. So she began to make her own threats to Umar Johnson.
Same way, he gave me 2 options. Umar Johnson, you conscious. I'm giving you 2 options. Here's your option. From 2023, my time frame with you is 7 years. The perfect number, my number, that's God's number. 7 years. Your first option. And I'm still keeping hope alive. If FDMG open, I will show up at the grand opening with receipt in hand because I got a cashier check. I'm so emotional. Let me calm down to get my thoughts. Okay. I got a cashier check. I contributed towards your vision. I believe in the concept of the village. I was part of the team that made the dream work. You understand? So I'm going to show up receipts. If he would lie that day, him and I, we both going to be at 6 o'clock. Because you know what? There's consequences to your action. I'm coming ready for him. And the second option he had, the same way, I didn't go to my first bank institute. I have 2 primary, not the first. I didn't go to Wells Fargo. Okay, I went to Huntington Bank the same way. Willingly, you didn't put a gun in my hand. Yes, willingly, I gave you that contribute for FDMG. Your option is you're gonna give me my money back. You're gonna go to your financial institute and give me my money back. And I'm giving you the choice to give it back. Just like I send you, you're gonna send it back. I don't care about no other donor, but if there's no school, you're gonna defecate or you're gonna vomit me my money back.
It starts to get now. Finally, we got through that. Now let's get to the good part, okay? Here's where it begins to get really bad for Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson didn't run her money back fast enough. So she began to drop videos on Umar Johnson. She began to reveal certain things that Umar Johnson didn't want out, such as during the filming process, Umar Johnson asked her to get a white woman to be in the movie. Not only did he want a white woman to be in the movie, he wanted the white woman to be bare-chested, in the nude. And he wanted the white woman to press her breast up against his chest, right? And he wanted a scene where she comes and she tries to seduce him and she pressed her breast up against his chest. And he says, no, I'm a king of Pan-African. I can't do this. So like she has messages of Umar Johnson fantasizing about this white woman doing things to him in his movie. Now, I think Umar Johnson was using this movie as a veil, right, to do things with that white woman that he knows he can no longer do in private, right? So she begins to release embarrassing things about Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson eventually says, bruh, this chick is going hard, man. She's doing interviews with Lennon Honor, a couple of my enemies, man. She's going crazy. I can't do this. So then he eventually begs her to stop. She doesn't stop. So then his lawyer contacts her and said, hey, listen, we've had enough, okay? We want to settle. Umar Johnson then writes her a check for over $60,000 to stop her from releasing all the information she has on him.
The reason I wanted to come out to make this video, it's because I received a check as a settlement from Dr. Umar Johnson. During the week, I received an email, and the email was not claiming to sue me. It was from his attorney at Cleveland Law Firm, which has a sister firm and where he's from, Philly. So they reached out. They wanted to have a dialogue. They wanted to give me a form of payment for my hardship that I dealt with Dr. Umar, for my donation, and then for my therapy. What I did say, I went to therapy in one of the videos, so they did their homework pretty thoroughly. They wanted to reimburse me for that. And he wanted to move forward and not have me make disparaging video about him anymore. Okay, so I'm sitting here, I'm like, disparaging video? I don't understand. Can you elaborate on that? Well, Ms. Laurianne, you're getting on your YouTube video, you're saying he's dating outside his race, which is factual. He doesn't date outside his race. I said, okay, so we're having a dialogue. Let me put some clarification. Well, we don't need, I said, you're going to allow me to speak, sir. You're going to allow me to have clarification. I said, first of all, I was gracious and I was kind. All I said on that YouTube video, he wanted to see with a Caucasian woman. I said, but I took my phone because we were having the Zoom meeting on my laptop, on my Apple laptop. So I took my phone on block and I sent a text, bleep. It went beep. I said, that beep you hear next to him, that's me texting him his own message, which is his acting number, his own message. I said, in that message, this is from Dr. Umar. He told me, Queen, this is how we're going to do this scene. I'm going to be bare-chested. This woman's going to have exposed breasts, and she's going to be pressing against my chest. I don't know if he thought I was doing a porn video, because we told him a feature film. But moving along, and they're like, well, we don't need, I said, well, I'm going to finish. Whether you want to hear it or not, I'm going to finish. I said, that's what he wanted. And then the scene, I'm going to break it down to you, family. The scene was for him to go, he came to his senses because he had a moment of weakness. This is him typing all this garbage to me. He came to his weakness because he had a moment of weakness. And he's going to go, no, I am a Pan-African leader. I can't stoop to this level. Black queen forever, snow bunny never, and I'm going to throw her off the bed. This is what he wanted to incorporate in the movie. And I said, no, we're not. We're having this dialogue. We're going to give you 68,600. I left the checks up there. I hadn't even cashed your check yet. Your check's still up there. But what I did do, I sent a copy of that check to Honor, because I promised Honor when I get paid, I would return back on this show, and then I would do let the people know I got my money back.
By the way, it doesn't stop here. But do you know the amount of information this woman must have to where Dr. Umar Johnson has been getting people making videos about him on the internet for a while now. For Umar Johnson to tell her, hey, man, here's $68,600 so you don't release the information you have on me? There has to be some terrible things that she is in possession of. I don't know Umar Johnson to be the type of man to give $68,000 of anything to anybody. So she gets the check for $68,000, right? But here's where all Umar Johnson did was just open up the rabbit hole. She then took that money and funded a class action lawsuit against Umar Johnson for the FDMG donation. So she donated $2,000 to Umar Johnson, right? She was able to gather about 40 other people who was on this lawsuit against Umar Johnson, and they funded it. And the lawsuit has finally got approved to move forward. Not only is there a lawsuit going on, but they have, I believe, like a law firm has also agreed to investigate Umar Johnson to figure out if he did anything unethical or illegal, and they're going to forward it to prosecutors to hopefully get some type of investigation going and get him prosecuted.
All the participants, like I said, received notice today. Plaintiff donors versus Jermaine Shermack, known as celebrity name Dr. Umar Johnson. This is now an official court matter. It's 40 of us. Now, the reason I'm part of it, yes, I did get a settlement, but they're using all my donation money to show that I was a supporter who did give donation. And then for the others, they all submitted copies of every cent that they gave to FDMG, and to show that they never also received any receipt. So a letter from the attorney that's representing the party of 40 will be sent to him to show good faith that we're willing to sit down and to give him a chance to give an explanation to why this school hasn't been open, or when will this school be open, and then to give explanation on how the donation money is used. Is it being used appropriately for what the donor has given the money for? The step was like to start collecting evidence, which means that we were all supposed to retrieve, like get every single proof of money that went, and then their legal team, they obtained a lot of videos of him saying the school's going to be open, but the school has never been open. That's also an evidence to see why he's saying the school hasn't been open. So, and they sent this to us. Let me read it on for you guys. sorry, should have been a little bit more prepared. Our job is to solve this case. You all have submitted the proper document of what happened, what each party contributed to the known school at PMG. Putting the information in the hands of people who can investigate and who can bring appropriate prosecution. It is advice to not reach out to we're not allowed to reach out to Umar.
This is how they got Diddy. This is exactly how they got Diddy. The lawsuit happens, investigation takes place, they find any type of evidence of a crime, and they forward it to somebody to prosecute. The only legal obstacle here is Umar Johnson was getting donations. Now, these were not investors, these were people who donated. So, like, their legal, I guess, entitlement to whatever Umar Johnson is building isn't really there. But Umar Johnson do have a legal nonprofit, right, that has, I guess, like tax exemption status. So he does have legal obligations to where he has to document everything. His 501(c)(3) is public. And now he doesn't list himself as receiving any type of salary whatsoever. So if he is receiving a salary to run this nonprofit and he's taking money, but it's not being disclosed, well, that's a crime, right? You know, that's something you got to deal with. But I think Umar Johnson knew something was coming because Umar Johnson gave this lady $68,000. $68,000, right? Now, whatever she has, because Umar Johnson is used to getting exposed online, whatever she has to be potent to where he's giving her $68,000. Diddy gave Cassie $20 million because Diddy understood whatever Cassie reveals could potentially get him in a lot of trouble. So Umar Johnson giving up $68,000 is equivalent to Diddy giving up $20 million. Right? But y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think, man? And if you're still watching this video and like want to watch another good video, then click on this video here somewhere on my screen, somewhere here, or here somewhere on my screen to find out about the NLE Chopper and Youngboy situation. All right. Apparently their beef almost got NLE Chopper really hurt yesterday. I'm gonna see you guys in this video somewhere on my screen. Out of here, folks. Peace.